Alright, family, welcome to our online lessons. Today we're looking at the topic called trigonometry. Now, trigonometry is a both paper 1 and paper 2 topic in mathematics. Now, when we talk about trigonometry, in paper 2 it carries 12 marks, and that in paper 1 it carries 2 marks. Okay. Now, what is it that we're supposed to understand in terms of paper 2? Now, when we say paper 2, we're talking about the one that has a calculator version, okay? Now, there are two things that we need to understand in paper 2. There are two rules. There's one that is called the sine rule, and the other is what we call the cosine rule. Now, how do you identify that you have been given the sine rule? So we say that the question is for the sine rule when we've been given two angles and one side. So every time you see a question where you have two angles and one side, know that it is a sine rule. Example, assuming to say we have something like this, okay, and we have an angle here, maybe an angle is 10, okay, and we have an angle here, maybe that angle is 5, and we have a side here 2. Are we together? Let's assume to say this is A, this is B here, and this is C. Now look at this, A, B, C. You were given the side here, A, C, which is 2. And you are given two angles inside. Just not to say what we're supposed to use is the sine rule. Now, what is the general formula that we use on the sine rule? So you go away on the first page of your question paper. It's written trigonometry, okay, on the formula. So trigonometry says the trigonometry equation or formula rather for the sine rule, it says A over sine A is equivalent to B over sine B is equivalent to C over sine C. Also, there's what we call the cosine rule. Now, how do you determine that you've been given the cosine rule? We say that we've been given the cosine rule when we've been given two sides and one angle. Assuming to say we have something like this, we have a side here 2 and we have a side 3, and there's an angle here, maybe 20 or 10, example, just any angle. They can give you any angle, okay? So now, this rule here, we use what we call the cosine rule. Are we together? Then also, when we've been given three sides, let's say 2, 3, and here we have 4. Now, we have 1, 2, 3. These are the sides, and we do not have any angle inside. It is what we say to be the cosine rule. Now, what is the general formula that we use to determine the side or maybe the angle of under the cosine rule? We say we only use cosine rule when we've been given two sides and one angle, or three sides and no angle, and the formula is a squared is equivalent to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Okay, this is the general formula that we use to determine the cosine rule. And also we need to understand how to determine the area. We say area is equivalent to half of breadth multiplied half of b times c, okay, cos c, sine a. Whether it is cosine rule or sine rule, this is the area or the formula that determines the area for both, okay. Then also we'll be required to determine the shortest distance. So shortest distance is equivalent to 2a over b, where a represents the area and that b is the distance that you have calculated. Let's look at an example now from an exam.